Okay, we powered back up. Right when I was changing out the, putting on this external battery pack, the phone went dead. So I figured it was about that time. I couldn't really catch the amount of battery life left, but I knew it was getting close. And so sure enough, the battery did go dead, so I lost you there. You haven't missed anything here. It's pretty much status quo. A group of officers you can still see standing here on the south side of this house at the northeast corner of 12th and High Street, West Central Topeka. Did see a couple officers walk down the street a moment ago with guns drawn, but that's about it at this juncture. And again, I'm standing about halfway up the block here in the 1200 block of Southwest High. I'm looking straight north, a little bit to the northeast here where this traffic is taking place. So again, I'm sorry I lost you there, and I hope you stayed with me. I got back up here quick as I could with my power, but it had completely drained. So again, we are live from the vicinity of Southwest 12th and High, where a hostage situation has been unfolding for about the last 45 minutes. Initially, we were told possibly gunshots fired inside this residence here. I believe it was 1190 Southwest High, but it could be 1196. I'm not going to say for sure, but 1190, somewhere right in that neighborhood here of Southwest High, which is right there on the corner, it appears, of Southwest 12th, which is a one-way street going west, 12th and High. Traffic is blocked off in this whole area right now. The only people coming through is it's like that white car there, a law enforcement vehicle. Otherwise, no one's getting in here right now. No one's getting in or out. So we're seeing a few neighbors come out occasionally, then they go back in, back and forth they go. And again, nothing here to really report new that we didn't have for you the last time. Sometimes these situations go on for hours at a time, so we're not going to stay here a whole lot longer, but again, we will keep it here for now. Thank you to the kind comments from some of our viewers here, appreciate it. And I'm about, again, half a block to the south here where all this is taking place. We'll try to get some more information here as it becomes available. Certainly we'll have more later this afternoon and evening on this situation. We may kind of walk around here just a little bit momentarily. I'm going to go ahead and try to do a few photos again here before I move again. And we'll keep an eye on things here momentarily. Again, forgive me for that. I'm just trying to get this a good shot here on our still camera. This group of officers out here really has not moved. The only movement I saw was the police car parked at an angle down here on the corner. That officer, or there were two officers behind them with their guns drawn. Those two officers, about maybe 10 minutes ago, they got out from behind that vehicle and went over by where the other officers are standing over here to the east. I also believe that, again, trying to do three things at once here with video, the regular camera, Facebook, and anything else here to get tossed at me. I'm checking to see as much as I can, but it did appear that an officer went across the street from the east side of the street where this house is located, across the street to the west here, and there's a yellow house. I don't know if you can see it up there, but went in behind there at some point. So we'll see if anybody here has anything they can offer. They may or may not. How are y'all doing? See, I'm with the newspaper. I'm on the Facebook Live. You don't want to be on there by any chance, do you? Or can you you know anything that, did anybody see anything that happened? Hey, how are you doing? I haven't seen you for a long time.
How are you?
Fine. I didn't know that was you over there. Everything going all right for you?
Yeah.
I see an old friend over here. I'm not going to put her on here because she's just a person standing by. But no one heard anything, did they?
We have the code 2. The code 1 is still outstanding. Code 1, white male, blue or black Harley Davidson shirt with blue jeans. 86 traffic 371.
Hearing somebody made it down here somehow. We're not sure. Where did that car come from?
The police?
No, that red vehicle, right?
I have no idea.
They let him through up there or something?
No, that officer came.
Oh.
That's the car that was there.
Oh, I see. Yeah, so they don't have that blocked at this point. Not sure exactly the situation there, but apparently the police car that had been back here blocking traffic at Southwest Huntoon and High has moved on now, and they're gone. So someone here driving up in this red Chevrolet SUV just got out, heading up the street here. So not sure exactly what this is all about here, but apparently they have some reason to be up there, and they're heading up to, looks like they're going to check out what's going on. So we're just going to keep it live here again for a little bit, as long as we can. Again, right around a dozen officers or thereabouts on the south side of this house here at Southwest 12th and High are clustered together, and haven't heard any real communication going on between the officers and anybody that might be in this house, where we were told about 10:45 or so there had been a report, or maybe 11 o'clock. I've kind of lost track of time, honestly. I do apologize. But somewhere along that line, maybe 45 minutes or so ago, been a report of a possible shot fired in this residence over here, and then the likelihood or possibility that a hostage situation had unfolded. So that's what brought everybody out here this late this morning, here on Monday morning, here in West Central Topeka. Now the person that just came up here appears to be walking out there pretty close to the intersection right behind all the police here. And so I think that may be the same person. I can't really tell. Again, we're a bit of a distance away. No, that's an officer with a gun drawn there. Okay, my fault. It's a little hard to see. Again, we're standing back quite a way, stay out of harm's way, hopefully, and keep out of the way of the police department. It's doing their job here. I did talk to a resident here in the 1200 block of Southwest High. He told me this is highly unusual for this neighborhood. It's usually a quiet neighborhood. As you can see, the houses are nicely kept, maintained. It's a pretty quiet area. But again, things happen in almost any neighborhood. It doesn't really matter which neighborhood. I'm sorry about that. I'm trying to get my camera adjusted here again, as we are seeing a little bit of movement up there. Some officers. American Medical Response Ambulance just pulling up behind us here. So is a Topeka Fire Department truck. So they're both pulling up, staging about pretty much almost a block away here. They're behind me a little bit to the south. Again, I'm mid-block here in the 1200 block of Southwest High. Gentleman gave me permission to be on his property. I appreciate that very much, because it gives me a much better vantage point to see what's going on here. Again, trying to stay at a safe distance, not to be in anyone's way. So we'll maybe get a little bit closer here momentarily, but for now, we're just keeping an eye on what's transpiring up here at this residence in the 1100 block of Southwest High. Again, we're told possibly a hostage situation, possibly shots fired. Have no idea if anyone was injured, if there were any shots fired, if anyone's in the residence, if there's been any communication. We don't know any of that. We're just kind of watching, just like you are here. And again, you can see the officers right in the middle of the screen here as I'm pointing towards the north and east from where I'm standing. It appears to me that we have Kansas High Patrol troopers along with Topeka police officers. About 30 minutes or so ago, 20 minutes maybe, a response team vehicle that you might be able to see here on the left. It's got a blue light flashing, a big dark black colored vehicle here in the middle of the block ahead of me. Had rolled in with two officers stationed on the back. They got off with their guns, and again, we're again waiting to see what's happening here. Reading some of the comments, sending prayers for the hostages and police. That's good. The next one down, the neighborhood is usually very quiet. This is true. We're seeing here now that police did say shots were fired as officers arrived at the residence in response to a domestic disturbance call. And again, we're hoping no injuries resulted. And again, right now that we're waiting to see if any contact is being made with anyone inside this house. And again, hopefully a peaceful resolution to this situation. But right now we don't know what's going on in terms of anyone in the house, whether there's been any injuries. We do now know that shots were indeed fired. We heard that was very likely the case, and now we know that indeed it was the case. Starting to hear now some talking on the loudspeaker here. I'm going to get a little bit closer. Please come to the front door with your hands up. I heard that. First time I've heard the loudspeaker going off since I've been here about 45 minutes or so ago. And repeating that again, please come to the front door with your hands up. Again, I'm working on my camera and my scanner and all sorts of stuff. So bear with me if the camera kind of gets a little bit askew every so often. We'll get it right back where it needs to be. If you could hear that, 1190 Southwest High. Again, come to the front door, basically saying you can't leave here. You need to come to the door with your hands up. This is basically what the message was. And I've heard the basic message repeated a couple of times. You know, 1190 Southwest High Police Department, again, making a request that this person would come out the house peacefully with their hands up at the front door. See a number of officers with their guns drawn, their rifles drawn, some walking up the street over here on the right side of me, here on the east side of the high on the sidewalk. Chevrolet Trailblazer here, leaving the scene. Came down here a few minutes ago. They're backing out, heading back south out of here. If you're just joining us, again, hate to repeat myself, but again, those of you just joining us, we are standing here in the 1200 block of Southwest High looking straight north. There's apparently a hostage situation going on here at around 1190 Southwest High, we're told. That's basically on the corner here of Southwest 12th and High here on the northeast corner of that property. From what we can tell, there's been no contact made with anyone in there at this point. Police officers were responding to a domestic call when apparently shots were fired just around 10:45 a.m. Monday. Officers called for backup. A short time later, the standoff has ensued and has continued now for about an hour, I'd say. Police officers, Kansas Highway Patrol troopers, standing on the south side of this house, one-story white house on Southwest 12th and High on the northeast corner. Haven't really moved since I got here. I mean, they moved around a little bit, but not a lot. And they've pretty much been positioned right there. Now the Topeka Police Department response team vehicle is parked at an angle ahead of me there in the 1100 block of Southwest High. Again, as I'm looking straight north, two officers were on the back of that vehicle and they jumped off around the corner here and joined some of the other colleagues with their weapons drawn there on the south side of this house up here. We've just for the last 5 minutes or so been hearing a loudspeaker message instructing the person in this house to come out peacefully with his hands up. At this point, there's been no indication anyone has come out of that house, nor do we know if anyone's even hearing the message. We don't know what's going on for sure in there right now. But again, they're trying to negotiate with this person to get him out of the house if it's at all possible. Traffic on Southwest Huntoon is blocked off westbound there at McVicker. Huntoon westbound street is blocked off. I should say, 12th Street, Westbound traffic on Southwest 12th is blocked at McVicker. Traffic going either north or south on McVicker. Huntoon right behind me here, about a half a block to my south, that's open. But High is blocked off here for about 2 blocks. Looks like from about Munson to the north to Southwest Huntoon to the south. Another officer just running across the way there you may have seen. Again, I'm gathering my stuff here so I can get some pictures. Again, another instruction for this individual to come out of the house. So it must be straight up noon then, huh?
Yeah, it is.
I hear the bells ringing. Bells are ringing. It's straight up noon here. So this has been going on for a little over an hour now. Sometimes these last a real long time. We'll stay here as long as we possibly can. Yeah, now there goes the... Now you're hearing the tornado sirens going off. That's the typical test that is done every Monday, weather permitting, at straight up noon here in Topeka. So you probably hear those on your live Facebook feed here. Again, this is Phil Anderson here with CJ Online, Topeka Capital Journal. We are live at a standoff type situation, possibly some hostages in this residence. Shots were fired. We've confirmed that. Shots were fired about an hour ago, a little over an hour ago now, and police responding to this scene of a domestic disturbance quickly called for backup. The different units did show up here. No officers were injured. We don't know if there were any casualties inside this house. And again, there's been no response from anyone to come to the door at this time, despite repeated requests and instructions from police here on a loudspeaker to come on out of the front door, hands up, and let's get this thing resolved peacefully. We don't know what may have transpired inside that house, and again, we're just waiting right now with you to see what might be taking place here. And we'll keep it live here for a bit longer here as you're standing by here with us on Facebook Live here with cjonline.com. Neighbors say this is a really quiet neighborhood, and it typically is. There's not a whole lot of excitement, crime around here. Certainly not anything of this magnitude. And this today kind of captured everyone's attention here as people are wondering exactly what's going on. Neighbors have kind of gone in their house, out of their house, back in. I've seen some of the neighbors back and forth a couple of times, some on the front porch, others standing out here in the street, waiting to see what's happening here. Why is this going on? We're going to get a little different vantage point here just to show you straight down high here. You can see it straight down the street to the north as I'm looking here with you. Looks like they may be getting ready to go in the property here, so I'm going to try to move over. I think they're maybe ready to go in there. We will see what happens. He needs to come out before that happens. He's been warned a number of times. He's been instructed to come out. This has been going on for at least 10, 12 minutes now where they've asked this person to come out. Certainly, if anyone's in there, they've got to have these messages by now. So the neighbors are still looking. On the loudspeaker, they were instructing the man by the name of John to come out. We don't know John's last name, but apparently the person they're looking for, his first name is John. An officer here getting ready to move his vehicle. And this officer's heading down the street here to the south. Again, the police here for like the last 15 minutes or so have been using the loudspeaker to get the person inside, will be named John, to come out, hands up, let's get this situation resolved peacefully. And the officers have also been standing outside this property here. We're told it's at 1190 Southwest High. Police on the loudspeaker have been giving that address, saying, John, please come out, put your hands up, come to the front door. And they've made that request repeatedly. No sign of anyone coming to the front door or any other portion of this property at this point. And there's a canine out there as well. Moving around here just a little bit more.
Yeah, run the tag in the bin for dispatch. Let's see if it's stolen or not for when the dog gets here.
Peak of police here, along with a few Kansas Highway Patrol troopers stationed on the south side of the house here. Officers momentarily, or I should say a short few moments ago, on the response team loudspeaker, exhorting John, a resident inside of this house, to come out peacefully. So far there's been no indication of anyone coming to the door or any other of the exits in this house, windows or otherwise. Officers here standing by on the south side of the house. There may be other officers around. I can see again some officers down in the middle of the block there out by the response vehicle as they are monitoring this situation, hoping for a peaceful resolution again, but we'll just have to keep it here and wait and see what happens. We'll stay here as long as we can. Some situations like this go on for quite a while. This is one of them. This one's already going on for into the 90-minute mark here pretty quick. Police came here initially around 11:15 this morning, around 10:45 or so, on a domestic disturbance. Shots were fired. We're told no police officers were injured. We don't know if anybody else was hurt. Have no idea. Police then responded and found themselves in the midst of a standoff, a possible hostage situation. There might be individuals inside this residence. We don't have any additional information at this point. Who might be in there? Have heard a few things, but we won't say them until we get some confirmation, so we'll just leave it at that. There may be a hostage situation inside here. We can definitely say that. Someone's asking here which house. I'm about as close as I can get here right now. It's the house right in the middle of the screen there. The officers, there's a cluster of officers. Those are people there. If you see there's movement, that's the officers right there on the south side of this house. And here comes a whole bunch of more. So it appears now that this house that is in question is the second house from the corner, which is 1190 Southwest High. The officers have now moved out of around the White House here on the corner, and apparently it's the house here. You might see an orange, it's like maybe a box or a red box possibly on the front porch. A little bit closer here.
Current to an '06 Toyota Camry for a Mr. and Mrs. Monson.
10-4, can you try to find some informant, see if they know where the car is or who's supposed to have it, please?
12-12.
Here's officers on the south side of this house here, second house from the corner. They were for a long time positioned right here on this white house on the corner. I'm showing you right here. They've moved over now to the next house over, which I believe is the 1190 address. I think the white one might be 1196 from what they had said earlier about an hour and a half ago. So we're again waiting to see what we can find out. We don't have a real good clear vantage point here. So again, we're just waiting to see what's happening here, what's transpiring. Officers made numerous requests for the resident in 1190 Southwest High, identified as John, over the loudspeaker to come out peacefully, put his hands up, come to the front door. That person apparently has not materialized yet, and officers are still waiting for some type of... Hearing some noise here. I heard police yelling at someone.
Liability insurance and failure to comply with citation. I'm seeing several entries for the September.
We're seeing here police able to remove one person from the front porch. Unknown how many people are still inside the residence at 1190 Southwest High. And again, that apparently is the second house here from the corner. I believe the house where the officers were earlier stationed on the south side was 1196 Southwest High. See some officers on the front porch of this residence at this time. Coming down the stairs. Three officers right there in the riot gear. They are walking down slowly down the front yard there, a little slope. I'm not sure at this point. Transpiring. Here comes AMR ambulance now.